How's this game from 1995 any different from this game in 2025? Well, now they charge you extra for the loading screen. It's been a long time since International Superstar Soccer dropped. Sure, we've moved on from those pixelated paint machines. But let's be real, it still feels like we're playing the same game in a shinier box. For many games today, there is way too much microtransactions. Actual gameplay is a meh, and the menus have just gotten way too grindier. This begs a question. Are we actually having fun, or are we just spending more time doing less? Sure, games today look amazing. Some of them feel like Oscar-worthy dramas with controller support. But the actual playing part is where things get messy. Now, let me clarify something. Yes, obviously games have changed since the arcade days. If aliens landed and saw Pong next to Elden Ring, they'd assume humans evolved an entirely new species. But when you zoom in closer, especially at the gaming metas, you realize some things haven't changed much at all. Take International Superstar Soccer on the SNES, for instance. People mostly have fond memories of this classic, but I vividly remember scratching my head watching my friends abuse broken mechanics. Like, for example, if you wanted to score a goal, all you had to do was move to the corner, charge up your shot, and it flew in every single time. Corners were another story. Just exploit the cross-angle physics and the AI goalkeeper was toast. It got so ridiculous, some tournaments outright banned these cheesy goals. Fast forward to 2025 and in FC, players are now casually nailing 40-yard trivelas. It's gotten to the point where you're more likely to miss an easy one-on-one than one of those absurd finesse screamers from midfield. This makes one thing clear. Players aren't playing the game. They're gaming the system. And honestly, there's an interesting conversation to be had about why metas even exist in the first place. It's not always the game's fault. It's just human nature. Players naturally seek out the easiest, most efficient path to victory. That's literally what meta means, most effective tactic available. Whether it's abusing corner shot glitches in ISS or launching unstoppable Trivela rockets in FC, players always gravitate toward what works. And hey, that can actually be part of gaming's charm. Metas create a common battlefield, a shared arena where skill and strategy are tested against predictable moves. They spark rivalries, force people to invent counters, and even create anti-metas. But there's a darker side too. Metas often drown out everything else. For example, if you want to use your favorite player or try some weird strategy, suddenly you're playing wrong and you start seeing strange scorelines. Creativity gets punished. Unique playstyles get crushed. You're then stuck in an endless cycle where each patch spawns a new meta and each new meta kills the old one, and eventually kills the fun too. Now let us go back up to what made older games fun: freedom, simplicity, and discovery. Now, for this, I will be weirdly comparing two games you'd never imagine comparing: Super Mario Bros. And Grand Theft Auto 5. At first glance, these two games couldn't be more different. Mario's a simple side-scrolling platformer where you bounce on turtles to rescue your princess, while GTA 5 is a sprawling open-world crime epic. But underneath their layers, both chase the same core appeal: fun through mastery and freedom. Mario gives you straightforward rules: run, jump, dodge, win. But the way you play the game, your timing, and creativity are what make it timeless. It's why Mario became a speedrunning icon. Players mastered it, exploited it, broke it, and did things the developers never even dreamed of. Older GTA games, like GTA 3 and San Andreas, felt similar. Missions gave you objectives without telling you exactly how to achieve them. You can choose to, for example, blow up a target's car before he knows you're there. You can even decide to chase them across town instead. These games were like chaotic playgrounds to create your own mayhem. But then GTA 5 came along and started tightening its grip, especially in early missions. Now cutscenes are everywhere and impossible to skip. Essentially, these guys have traded play for polish and then lost the chaos which made the game truly magic. Red Dead Redemption 2 took this even further. Don't get me wrong, RDR2 is an incredible game. I adore the characters, the story, and the absurd attention to detail. Seriously, you can lose hours just watching rain fall realistically into mud. But here's the weird thing: despite all the universal praise, almost nobody raves about its actual gameplay. That is weird for a video game. Nobody says, "Wow, that slow tailing mission where I had to gallop behind someone for 10 minutes holding L2 was fantastic," or "I loved failing because I stepped 2 inches off the path." Instead, people celebrate the story, the visuals, and the immersive atmosphere. And that right there says a lot about modern gaming. The part where you actually play often feels like an afterthought. Because the focus isn't on gameplay anymore, it's on spectacle. Design priorities have changed. Games aren't just games anymore, they're experiences, and at the heart of that shift is money. In 2020, the gaming industry pulled in over $180 billion, more than the global movie and music industries combined. And that's surprising considering how ubiquitous and culturally embedded music and movies are. I mean, everyone watches movies, everyone listens to music. Most people don't even think of gaming as being in the same league. But let's put this in perspective. Back in the 1980s and 90s, movies ruled. In 1993, Jurassic Park became the highest-grossing film of its time, making around $914 million at the box office. That same year, the entire gaming industry made less than $7 billion globally. Fast forward to 2013, when Grand Theft Auto 5 dropped, it made $1 billion in just 3 days. For comparison, that same year, Frozen made $1.3 billion total, and that was one of the biggest Disney hits of all time. Then came 2020, the year COVID shut down theaters and concerts. Gaming soared. While Hollywood was scrambling to push back release dates, Animal Crossing New Horizons sold over 40 million copies, and Call of Duty Warzone became a global phenomenon. Meanwhile, the entire music industry made about 23 billions, and the global box office brought in just over 12 billions. A fraction of gaming's 180 billion. And it's not just one-off titles. Franchises like Call of Duty, FIFA, and Fortnite are pulling in billions every single year. Meanwhile, studios are lucky if a movie cracks $1 billion once every few years. So yeah, games aren't just competing with movies anymore. They've outgrown them, financially, culturally, and in how much of our time they demand. So what happens when that much cash flows into an industry? Studios chase the safest bet, and right now that's not tight gameplay or arcade-style freedom. It's storytelling, cinematics, drama, cutscenes, basically prestige TV disguised as video games. Because let's face it, a great story hooks people. It grabs headlines, sparks discussions, wins game awards, and inspires endless YouTube breakdowns. But great gameplay is tougher. It takes time, experimentation, iteration, things that are difficult to sell in a flashy trailer. Don't get me wrong, I love diving deep into a good narrative, exploring different character arcs, and uncovering hidden lore. But if all I wanted was storytelling, I'd go watch Netflix. When I pick up my controller, it's because I want to play. Games should always be fun, first and foremost, not just impressive movies you occasionally tap buttons through. And speaking of big changes in gaming, let's talk about monetization. Because if there's one area where modern studios have truly innovated, it's how effectively they are at getting you to pay for more stuff. We've officially entered the era of games as a service. A phrase designed to sound convenient, but it really means, hey, buy the rest of the game later. Once upon a time, you bought a game and it was all there, on the disc. No patches adding critical content, no premium skins, no pay-to-win systems. Now, your $70 is just the entry ticket. Studios don't just sell you a game anymore. They sell you time-saving features for problems they created. Sometimes studios will roll out games with early access, which at times are more expensive than the actual game launch price. Take, for example, the standard edition prices, which are typically around $60 to $70. That changes with deluxe editions, which can cost as much as $120. A good example is Starfield by Bethesda. When it launched, the standard edition was priced at $69.99. But the premium edition, which offered 5 days of early access, a digital art book, and a story expansion, was $99.99. Meanwhile, the Constellation edition soared to $299.99. In this model, players are essentially paying more not just for extra content, but for the privilege of playing the same game a few days early. They do the same thing with DLCs. Do you want to buy that cool outfit you saw in the trailer? Yeah, that'll cost you extra. Do you want to skip the grind? You need to buy a battle pass. Make no mistake, the grind is designed to be miserable. Let us not even talk about how gaming might be encouraging kids to gamble. Gamers are feeling increasingly exploited, like cash cows constantly milked for features that used to be standard. What once felt like a full-course meal now arrives one overpriced side dish at a time. Sure, people say cosmetics are optional, but when the entire grind is intentionally tedious to push you towards spending money, it's not optional. It's psychological manipulation. And here's the worst part. This relentless monetization is killing innovation. When you're raking in millions from loot boxes and battle passes, why take risks? Why build something original when you can repackage the same franchise for the 10th time? That's why AAA gaming feels trapped in an endless loop of sequels, remakes, and safe bets. Another Redditor nailed it when they said, "We used to see big studios release wild, experimental games, titles like Okami, Katamari Damacy, and Psychonauts. Now, if a game isn't a shooter with seasonal updates or an open-world RPG stuffed with cinematic sequences and microtransactions, it probably won't get made." When your entire business model revolves around reselling the same product, just slightly shinier, creativity inevitably dies.
So after all this talk about innovation, realism, and billion-dollar studios, maybe the biggest difference between 1995 and 2025 isn't the graphics.
It's that in 1995, games were made to be played. In 2025, they're made to be monetized. In 95, the goal was fun. Today, the goal is engagement. Playtime is tracked. weapon skins are monetized, and storytelling has replaced gameplay as the headline feature. And sure, we've gained a lot. Things like cinematic universes, huge open worlds, motion-captured actors. But somewhere along the way, we stopped asking if games were fun to play and started asking if they were content worth streaming, grinding, or selling.
Maybe the real evolution we need is to start playing like it's 1995 again.
If you like this video, kindly drop a like and subscribe.